like to say I'd want to start from the beginning. I have a guide saying to me we'll start from the beginning, but there isn't a beginning as such. Okay, all right. So I started this morning at 3 o'clock this morning, just channeling information that I was woken up, and how it felt for me was a bit like they gave me an image, a picture of being like in a chrysalis, and it felt very much as in we imagine a butterfly in a chrysalis. And I kept on being told it's all about being the authentic you. It's about being authentic to yourself. Okay, that's why I kept on hearing. This is 3 o'clock this morning, and I kept on twisting and turning in my bed. I was feeling different sensations in my body. My physical body was feeling different sensations. I was feeling quite hot at times, and then shivery, and then they were just moving through my energy system. And then I woke up in the middle of the night. I was scribbling all over my board in my bedroom about the information they gave me. They were talking about 7-year cycles. They were talking about the auric magnetic energetic field around each and every one of us, and they was talking it's very connected to our growth and time changing on the planet right now. And it seems as if it's like full speed ahead. There's lots of elements that's going on the planet right now that's actually, overemphasizing, actually reinforcing energy shifts, energetic changes with each and every one of us, and energetic changes from the physical self, the emotional self, the mental self. They just said, okay, the development of the soul. Okay, and that seems to be very important. And what they're saying right now is that there's that they have like a I wouldn't say concern, I would say from the spiritual side, they're sort of saying to me on the other side that there is this concern in a sense of how is everyone doing? How is everyone doing right now? How's everyone doing for all the changes that's going on the planet? How's everyone doing sort of physically, mentally, on a spiritual sense, soul sense? Okay, and for those who haven't quite yet managed to look at their soul journey, or tuned in as such, or aligned themselves, must be, as someone just said, must be a difficult time for you on this planet right now, because you're picking up everything from everyone around you. So it's very important that you're aware of this. Okay, thank you. Okay, now they were telling me very much so about when I was shifting and turning in my body, this morning at 3 o'clock, they were telling me very much about the 7 cycles and the auric field, and also talking about the energy fields that we have in our body, and where our chakra systems are lined up, in our body, and the development and different stages of ourself. Okay, thank you. Okay, all right, let's have a little look. So they just chucked this title at me saying, who am I? And they're saying, who am I, is when we look at ourselves and where we've come from, who we are individually as ourselves. Who am I? Okay, thank you. That's okay, more information. And what they're saying is it's about connecting to yourself. At this time, it's really important to connect to yourself, to connect to your journey, to find your balance, to see where you've been, where you are presently. Okay, thank you. And they said not to worry too much about what's to come, but just to stay in the present. They're saying very important right now for many people to stay in the present. Very important. Okay, thank you. They're saying there are far too many of you humans on the planet that are feeling overwhelmed, feeling as if your mind is rushing too far forward into the future of what's to come and all the changes that are happening. They're saying that it's about coming back to the self. Now, they were telling me about the energy, the chakra systems, the energy in your body, and the changes. Okay, thank you. They're just showing me it's like layers of yourself peel away. You peel away, peel away. Okay, thank you, peel away. They're talking about, okay, thank you, a bit like if we think of a caterpillar, I'm always going to use this analogy because this is what they keep showing me, our stages that we go through, our growth period. So from 0 to 7, who am I, is mainly our caregivers, our family. Our brain is not so much your brain is not so much independent from 0 to 7. this is what they just said. They're showing me the brain, the nerve system, and the information, the development of the brain. They're showing me stages and different developments of the brain. You are, before 7, you are connected, you are your family. So thank you. So and we would use that we would look at the base chakra. This is what they bring me to, the base chakra, and who you are. And they're saying to me about the energy, oh thank you, of the family is really connected with this area. Who am I? Who am I? They said, who am I? And they're looking at, from a physical sense, the emotional sense, and the soul sense, emotional sense, a mental sense. Thank you. Okay, thank you. 2 guides, one disagreed, not the mental sense, because the mental sense is not the psychological sense, as it's not, okay, thank you, has not formulated as such. It hasn't totally created itself. It's not totally formed as such. It's okay, thank you. 2 guides coming in. One is, they're very different from each other, different personalities. So they're talking about the energy that we send out into the electromagnetic field. Thank you. They called it something else. One of them called it something else, and my other guy said no, they would understand it from this. Okay, fine. So the energy field. So the base chakra, the early part of our life. So whatever has happened to any of us during childhood from 0 to 7 will affect us. Oh, thank you. Physically to some degree. Thank you. They brought in my little Russian doll. I'm just gonna take this out now, because it's the layers of yourself. They tend to like working with this to sort of demonstrate, to show. Okay, so they're saying this 0 to 7 is really concentrating on your lower base chakra, your lower energy field, the energy field that's closest to your physical self. And they're focusing on that if there has been some disturbance within that energy field, there will also, the body will carry it like a fingerprint or an echo of energy in that area. Okay, thank you. Oh, okay. And as we know, working with energy fields, that with the lower base chakra, when we open that area, when we go into meditation or when we open up to spirit, that is the closest to the physical self. Okay, thank you. So they're happy with this right now. Okay, so then as the next 7 stages of life, thank you. Thank you. You tend to break away from your younger self. So from 0 to 7, you are part of your family, and depending on the relationships that you have, your tribe, your community as such, they just said. And then we move to the next as we move up. But as we know that when you move up to the next energy center within your body, it's really your identity, your gender. You become more aware of gender. You come up the sacral chakra, orange energy center, above your pubic bone, they just said, underneath your belly button, and your chakras and energy systems are interlinked, interwoven. So with that area, your orange sacral, you have labeled this as orange. Okay, they just said this is the next part of yourself. And again, from the 7 up to the 14 is really the sexualization of who you start to become, how you see yourself in the world. This is interlinked. It's not that it jumps from base to sacral, they just said. This interlink. Oh, thank you. They just said, so whatever has taken place, or however you have interpreted information from 0 to 7 will then also affect your development, they just said, from the 7 to the 14. So it's very interesting and very important that you are aware of that next leap. It's sort of intertwined, interwoven. And there are then, we have your, balance. They're talking about the gonads, the organs there, male, female, and you start to become more aware. And also, thank you, they just said there is also an imbalance of hormones that come in. So hormones that come into the body at this time, which can make quite confusing. Thank you. They just said, one of my guides, I don't know if it's a doctor or somebody, but somebody who's standing here, it's like they're showing me like on a board, and they're dressed in they're dressed in a white doctor's coat thing. It's almost like that from a lab, I don't know, and their point is they're just trying to show me and tells me, okay, thank you, that how also the brain is disturbed to some degree from that age, from the 7 to the 14, it's disturbed. Can be patterns of interruptions of what happens, and this is also to do with the balancing of the hormones, so difficult times. So this is again the next cycle. Okay, thank you. They've gone up. I haven't got enough Russian dolls, and then they move up, and then okay, thank you. The other one has corrected my other guide and says, okay, but you remember the energy field that comes out from the human body, from the sacral chakra, is the next layer around the body, the auric field around the body. Thank you. Okay. And so the world becomes more aware of who you are by your energetic field that you send out. Okay. So the next one we go up. So they go up to the solar plexus, and the next part of who you are. Okay. Thank you. And they're making me aware of, then we hit the next age group, we go up to 21, we go up. Okay, thank you. And also said this is different now. Okay, 7, 14, 21, 7, 14, 20. Okay, I don't know, they're both of them are, there's some conflict in what number they would give that chakra, but they're saying the next stage of your development of who you are, where you are, what you're exploring in life, and wanting to explore, wanting to express. Okay, thank you. Yes. Okay, so then we look at this area. This is the bridge now. This starts to become the bridge of who we are. We start looking spiritually at ourselves. Okay, thank you. And we start to become aware that we want to expand. Okay, expand ourselves. Okay, and thank you. And that's when okay, thank you. They said from the 14 to the 21, there is this expression of now coming out into the world more, wanting to connect more with the world, wanting to be much so, they just said, in connecting to the world, interaction, interconnectedness. Okay, thank you. There's two here that's talking, and it's about us expanding ourselves more. Okay, thank you. And then the empathic side of us, so that starts to then even come into that sense where it's becoming more and more developed. Okay, thank you. They also said, obviously, there are children that are developed way before this and can see a lot more spiritually and can see much more of spirits as such, but this is where we start more to connect, and this is more where the next layer of self extends out. Okay, thank you. Okay, all right. They're both sort of disagreeing to some degree, or there's differing. I think we have someone that would have been worked in the medical field, or with the human mind at some point, and also, yeah, I think that the physiology of a body, and we've also got a spiritual guide coming in. Okay, fine. Okay, then let's go up. Okay, because I haven't got enough. I'm talking to them. I don't have enough little dolls. But also said they now we move up to the heart. We move up higher, and we're on the next 7 year. Okay, I think I'm remembering correctly, 28 roughly. Depends. Okay, thank you. Okay. One of the guides is sort of saying, depending on your maturity of your life, and depending on where you've been at, and depending on what your journey is in life, depending on this area here that extends fully, and the heart, how it connects. Okay, thank you. One of my guides is saying, obviously, depending on what has previously gone before this time, before the heart area, depending on if there has been some discrepancies, if there has been some hurt or wounds within the early childhood, teenagehood, it can be disrupted. So that, I thank you. That's why the age is slightly different to some degree. They're not set in stone. Okay, I've just been told, not set in stone. But as you can imagine, they said, as the body moves through, as the physiology, as the emotional, the mental, the spiritual side, the journey goes through many different stages and many different layers, and timing can be slightly different depending on where we're at. Okay, thank you. Okay, so as you move through your maturity, as you move through your energy system, okay, thank you. They're also talking about how organs change and develop. They're talking about the stages of organs, skin. They're talking about the tissue in the body and the bones. Okay, thank you. Okay, okay, thank you. They bring me here, and they just said, I think there's something about T cells or something. They also talking about this just before up higher than the heart. So I've got someone here talking about how, again, that changes and that slows down when you get into 28, they just said. Okay, So there's, your body is affected by your life cycles, emotional life cycles, and also from the physiology, depend on how you take care of your body, or depend if you do not take care of your body. Again, the cycles, the sevens, and they go up, they go high, and then they go through, and I'm like, well, I haven't got any more dolls. I mean, you've got a big one, but they're like, well, you know, so be it, they just said. And then your throat, and then we go to the next. So probably about 35, I think, maybe, possibly, who knows. The throat, thank you, yes. They said you know yourself much more when you reach into your 30s and are more expressional, and then you would share your voice out with the world. Dependent, they just said. Dependent again, also on the interwoven links of your family and what has happened with certain members of your family, and whether your voice can be heard or not. That can remain blocked and can remain stuck, in a sense of, depending on the relationships that you've had moving through your physical self and your emotional self with your body. So they said, so you can see nothing's set in stone to some degree. You are influenced by others around you. Thank you. And then we move up again. And so one of my guides has become a little bit tedious with saying, then we move up. And then we have the third eye, and then we go up. Thank you. And that should bring it. Thank you. I just asked them. Being dyslexic and numbers, I always get lost, but they just said 42. So we here, and again, it's like how we start to see the world. They said how we start to see the world, how we start to visualize, how we vision, our vision changes of how we once were, moving down through all the cycles of ourself, and like the catalyst, the butterfly, and how we change, but how we start to see ourselves, how we start to see the vision of moving forward. Very important how this comes in. It's not that it comes in at the stages, it's how we are aware, and our auric field around us, energy fields around us, all interconnecting, all interwoven. Thank you. This is bigger than this 5-minute conversation. Got it. And then we move up more, and then they give us the 49, and then we're more expansive and want more about humanity, and again we keep moving up. Soul star, we keep moving up, and auric field moving out. And then those 7 years of the cycles, they're saying that it's your on many levels. This is emotional, mental, physiology, the body, and you start looking at the changes in your body, and you start looking at the changes who you are. Thank you. So this is bigger than just this little piece they've just said, but my guides are saying it's very important at this time, because there's so much change going on the planet. They're more concerned about what's happening for you as individuals, and about taking care of yourself seems to be very, very, very important. Thank you. Thank you. And they said the interaction with others is very important too. Thank you. They just told me to show you this. Now I'm going to switch it on. It does make a noise. I don't know why, because I'm not playing any music at this minute. Thank you. They like the colours. They like the colours also, and they're sort of saying about how the speaker, how it interacts. Thank you. Thank you. Your energy field, how your energy field, I don't know why it's moving up and down because I've got no music tuned to it. But your energy fields of what's going on for you as you've gone through each of those 7 cycles, each of those stages through your physical self, emotional self, mental self, physiology, everything that you hold on to in your physical vessel, you are then radiating out, like the speaker that I have here. It radiates out when it's working, and there's music that it radiates out, and you as individuals are radiating out the information about yourself too. So whenever you are going through life, you are radiating out information about yourself. Thank you. They said like the speaker, if the speaker was on the table, it would vibrate with music. That's the same as your energy fields. It would vibrate and send out information to individuals. Thank you. They just said, I know this because being a psychic medium, I pick up on that. I'm just going to switch that off now, and it'll make a sound. There we go. This is what they're saying. They're saying about the energy fields, how they expand also. Thank you. I love this. I don't know if it's a professor or something, I'm not sure. But also it's making me aware that when we've had something happen to us, our auric field will not vibrate out as wide as maybe somebody else's that was more in tuned or balanced or had addressed certain issues, they're just saying. So it makes me feel aware, if this is correct, that when there has been issues in certain development, the 7 stages of ourselves, and there are loads of other stages they're saying, but those main stages that we go through energetically in our body, if something hasn't been addressed, it will there's a residue, and there may be that the your auric field, your energetic field, may not be so expanded as maybe ideally it would be. Okay, what does that would affect? Okay, let's have a little look. Okay, thank you, got it. So what they just said, I was just saying to them, what difference would that make? You know, some people are totally unaware of energy and haven't done the tuning in or connected, or not aware of being intuitive or psychic, or they haven't developed their empathic stage or whatever it is. Okay, thank you. They just told me, okay, thank you. One of them just said, well, of course, if the individual soul is unaware of this, then there is that possibility that the empathic part of them from the heart would open up quite fully and be unaware of how then what you're attracting in, and also about the hurt and pain that you're feeling from others. So it's important that you're aware what has affected you and how it affects you and what it can do. Okay, there is an exercise I want me to try with you guys in a moment, but they're saying it's very important that you're aware of the channel that you have. Okay, thank you. If the channel is clearer, if there is no blockages and you have a balance, it's easier to connect. Now they're going up and they're bringing up and they're making me aware of our crown chakra, our soul star, and how we connect to the divine. When we connect to divine, we work for our higher self. When we are fully aware of our higher self, being awoken or conscious awareness, shall we say, then everything that we want in life, we send out as a magnetic sort of field, and then we sort of obtain it. So, you know, those things that we called synchronicities, or well, that's a coincidence when something happens, but it's not. It's just that your energy is actually in its prime, it's in its right place to sort of guide you, and it's that internal compass that you have, that you then become aware of the direction you need to go in by, okay, they say, by aligning yourself, by being aware of your energy fields, being aware about checking yourself in, and we'll do an exercise in a moment, by checking with yourself where you are, what's happening for you, by doing your personal development, by really focusing on how you can move forward, then you sort of align all your channels, and then it becomes a lot easier then to connect to your higher self, so that you start seeing the direction you're meant to go in. So for me, I have this I don't know how it's going to end up, but I have this feeling that I want to go down to Hove or Brighton or be by the sea, and so I'm just going to go with it, and what the hell. And that's just having that faith and trust in it. And that's how they're saying it's about having trust and faith. You may not know where you then move forward to, they use another word, trajectory. It's about the trajectory. It's irrelevant, but it's about when you are connected to your soul, your higher self, they said, then that way it makes it easier that you then can tune into yourself to ask yourself, working with your intuition, where is it I should go? Where is it I should go? That's your intuition, and that's your internal compass. That's what they're saying. Okay.